So, welcome back to Milan Climbing Expo's lead contest, which is about to start in a couple of seconds. We are now ready for the last comp in the lead, that is after the two on-site routes. We're going to watch the afterworks route, and we're now waiting for the official speaker to start so that I can then translate for you what he's saying. I hope you're cozy at home. It's pretty cold in Milan right now, but I'm sure the athletes are warm and they're trying to keep warm. We've had the boulder contest before, and now the lead contest. So Milan Climbing Expo lead contest. So, as usual, we'll explain the rules of the game. Welcome to all of you who are on YouTube or on Facebook. And as we said, it's the Milan Climbing Expo's lead contest. This morning, the athletes have tried the routes for 20 minutes, so they have an idea of the difficulty and more or less the beta and the sequence. And therefore, now they will try to top the routes in one attempt. Very basic rules. And we know that, of course, the afterworks results will be summed up with the two on-site routes that have been climbed earlier on. So now we can start introducing the athletes. So we start from the younger ones. A very young girl who got access to this first international contest is Sofia Molinaro from Italy. She qualified last night, and so now she's really thrilled to be among the legends of climbing. And of course, we have a young boy too, Riccardo Moretti, who qualified last night, and will now continue with the other athletes who qualified for this round. Sara Caramella, again from Italy. And of course, next athlete to be out is Niccolò Balducci, who again qualified last night, and he's arriving right now. So these are very, very young athletes, but they have all a right, they've conquered their right to be here tonight. And we now introduce the next athlete. She has a name A as a lead grade. You might have heard of her because she was occasionally in World Cups. This is Laura Rogora coming out. She's very young again. And here she is. And on the boys' side, and I say boy because he's very, very young too, and he's a youth world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Stefano Carnati from Italy. Here he is, right? And now it is a pleasure to welcome an extraordinary, legendary climber. This is Maja Vidmar from Slovenia. And now we continue with an extraordinary climber who really has an extraordinary palmarès. And this is Jörg Verhoeven coming in. And he glimpses at the roof. And again, another legend for the females. This really has a number of climbs which are really extraordinary. And this is Muriel Sakani from Belgium. Here she is. Maybe the youngest of you won't recognize her, but she's really been a legend of competition climbing and rock climbing. And again, coming up is another strong athlete. Coming out now. And this is Stefano Ghisolfi. And Stefano you might know from World Cup, of course, from Italy, but he is in the World Cup climbing. Of course, he prefers ladies, but last but not least, among the females, the devastating power of another legendary climbing, although she's still in World Cup with 38 total podiums in World Cup. And coming up is Mina Markovic. And here they are, the athletes who will fight tonight. In the afterworks route. But there is one missing, as you might have gathered. And here we do have an all-round legend and a very passionate climber from the Czech Republic. He's currently the highest expression of sports climbing on rock, Mr. Adam Ondra. So a couple of minutes for the crowd to take pictures. And yeah, we're still with pictures actually. Couple of minutes and we'll send them to their places so we can start with the afterworks contest. As I said, the score of which will be summed up to the two on-site routes. And so the first to go are Riccardo Moretti and Sofia Molinaro, two very, very young athletes. So we will discover the order, but there you are. For the girl, you have now starting Sofia Molinaro and Riccardo Moretti. So Sofia will be on the orange and white route. Riccardo will be on the green route. So you see, it is very important for the athletes. Some like to review the routes just before they actually start climbing. And that's what Sofia Molinaro is doing. A moment of pause in the music. And Sofia looks like she's ready. She's been really determined in the two on-site routes. And Riccardo's still putting on his shoes. So we'll wait for both to be ready before we give the official start. And the lights start creating the right atmosphere in the climbing gym in Rockspot Nordovist climbing gym in Milan. So I'd say we're ready. They are ready. So is the audience ready? And the audience is answering with a loud cheers and applause. And so here we go. Ready, steady, go. They've actually started. Sofia is on the first terrible slopers. I tried the route this morning. They had 20 minutes each to try and go through the best possible beta. The routes proved pretty intense. And of course the head route setter here is Alberto Niel and his team, and they've done an excellent work so far, and I'm sure, I mean, they've done an excellent work on this route too. So Riccardo is on the green route and he looks quite at ease. Of course, they know where the holes are, but the route is also much harder. So it is really testing the skills of these two very young climbers. And there again, they have to be precise, they have to remember the route. And Sofia finishes her attempt now. But really, I think she's happy to have qualified to climb with such legends. Although she won't be happy, of course, because she's fallen. And Riccardo, instead, is still on the route, fighting for any possible position. And they're a terrific drop knee, but he's still on. He's probably getting a bit pumped, at least he looks so. So it's a technically spectacular route. I mean, Riccardo is trying to use that drop knee, but also jamming his heel and toe, because this sequence is really very intense. So Ricardo is being cheered by the local audience and off now, but smiling. Again, I think for him it's been such an honor to be with these legends, but he deserved it on the other hand, because he really qualified last night to enter this bunch of super athletes. So we call the next two athletes, and these are Niccolò Balducci for the men and Sara Caramella for the girls. Again, two young Italian athletes. And I was talking to Sara Caramella before, and she told me she's really so excited and also a little bit in awe to be in this, to have qualified and so be in this afterworks route tonight with the legends of climbing. So waiting for both to be ready. Again, their name is, well, their names are Niccolò Balducci and Sara Caramella. And again, they've qualified last night for this lead contest. They seem to be ready, still observing the route. So if they're ready, 3, 2, 1, go. And off they go. So Sara Caramella on the orange route and Niccolò Balducci on the green one. So the beginning for the women's route is full of slopers. And the boy route too starts pretty tough. And so previous athlete Riccardo Moretti is being interviewed, saying the route was fantastic, not only good, but very, very hard for him. So he can't wait to see the legends climbing it. And of course, let's go back to our two athletes on the route, on the two routes. And Sara seems to steadily find her way up. So remember, this is the afterworks route, but they've only had 20 minutes to try and solve the various sections, remember them, and especially find the beta. Again, Rockspot Nordovist is the gym in Milan which is hosting this event. Not usual for Milan to host such events, but they've only had 20 minutes on the route, but of course they seem to have really learned something, or at least in Niccolo Balducci is off the route. It's still a good effort, and the official speaker is saying we'll see Niccolo again. Of course, Sarah is off too, so she finishes her route here. But she's smiling as she comes down. She probably realized during the work period that this route is really hard. So you see, we have the next athletes already, pushing their way into their position, their starting position, and these are Laura Ogora and Stefano Carnati, both from Italy. Laura Ogora is observing, giving her last quick look to the route. She's very young. She's been already in World Cup competitions. And of course, Stefano was European youth champion. So, okay, we're now hearing the music real loud, and the speaker is real loud, and this to keep the audience warm while the two athletes are getting ready. Again, they're putting their shoes on. And of course, it's time for a very, very quick interview to the two previous climbers. So, a question to Sarah. Sarah, how did it go? What was the route like? I loved the route, says Sarah, and I loved the two on-site routes too. Now we were a bit tired after a whole day, but it's really been an exciting experience. Okay, so everything ready, and off they go. And Laura is already on the route, while Stefano was taking his time, but he's up now. And now Nicolo's being interviewed and saying he's ever so happy to have climbed with the top climbers in the world, so he's ever so happy, although the route was a bit hard for him. So let's watch the two athletes on the route. And still the two previous athletes are talking about the athletes on the wall now, saying that they will surely go pretty high up. But let's enjoy watching them climb. And again, it's Laura Ogora and Stefano Carnati, both from Italy. and both in the World Cup circuit, and they seem to really want to get as high as possible on this route. So big cheers, of course, for both of them from the crowd. And both Stefano and Laura are trying their best and giving it all. But they will have to fight hard. They know that. So Laura seems a little bit in trouble. She's short, but no, she's still fighting. And in fact, the situation is pretty exciting. So they're really fighting hard to, you know, try and get as high as possible on the route. Although it's a really hard endurance route, but also intense, and so we'll see what happens. Of course, the climbing with the legend, Laura has climbed the first 9A in Italian 9A, so she really is fighting like she did to climb Coupe de Grace or Coupe de Grace, her first 9A in fact. So a big cheers to both, of course, from the audience. They're getting pretty wild, of course, because they want their young athletes to go as high up as possible. And in fact, the two are fighting, but Stefano is off the wall and has finished his climbing. But, okay, he's looking up, but Laura is still on the wall, which, again, it is pretty interesting. She might try a dyno now, and she's off too. But after a good fight, which is, you know, again, what counts. And of course, we have an applause, a really loud applause, a round of applause for her. And she really does look pretty tiny, but gosh, she, you know, really fought hard for her position. Now, of course, you might have recognized Reddy on the orange route, Maya Vidmar, and on the green route, Jörg Verhoeven. Okay, so again, some time to get ready, put their shoes on. And they have, like the others, only one attempt on this afterworks route in Milan Climbing Expo's lead contest. Music gets even louder to sort of cheer them, and the athletes are nearly ready. Of course, they don't want to rush into putting on their shoes, or Jörg is again just looking at the sequence. While Maya is finishing putting her shoes on. And here we are. Jörg looks like he can't wait to be climbing, and they seem to be ready now. So 3, 2, 1, go. And again, they seem to be coping, but of course we're only at the beginning of the routes. They seem to be coping with the orange slopers for Maya and the green holds for Jörg. Meanwhile, the two previous athletes are being interviewed, and Laura is saying she thought it, well, I mean, in the morning when she tried the route seemed to be much easier, but now after a whole day of climbing, she found it more difficult, but she loved it. Okay, so while the two climbers move up on the wall, asking Stefano Carnati what he thinks about the route, and he's saying too that, you know, he was a little more tired than in the morning, and the route gets more intense, hold after hold. So let's go back and look up, because Jörg is more or less in the area, cheering and waving to the audience, which is always a thrilling moment for the audience, in fact. So big cheers for both as they fight their way up on this route. And of course the routes don't look a bit easy, but not a bit, but judging from, you know, the way the two athletes are climbing. But of course all athletes said the route is, you know, harder and harder as you go up. They don't look that terribly pumped, although now Jörg is shaking out. Both are actually shaking out, so you can tell how hard the route is. Now Jörg and Maya are back in action. Jörg is trying to cope with the next moves that really looks high. And Jörg has got to a difficult point and pops off the route. And again, he's probably done something wrong because he's shaking his head and looking up at the route. And so Maya is still on the route, and she's determined to go up, and no, she pops off the route too, probably pumped, she said, or she indicates, pointing to her forearms. And of course they must be pretty exhausted at this hour of the day. But the two next athletes are out. And of course, we're now again with the legends. And from here, I can see on the orange route Muriel Sarkany. And of course, she is a legend in climbing. And she's quickly reviewing the route already, while on the green route, Stefano Ghisolfi, whom most of you might have known. He's also won World Cup contest or a World Cup event. And he too is observing the route. So we're getting ready for some more climbing show as the two are getting ready. Of course, we've seen them climb all day, and they're really climbing machines, both of them. And I'm sure, you know, they really will fight their way in this after-works contest. It's the Milan Climbing Expo's lead contest. Here in Milano's climbing gym, it's rock spot climbing, rock spot Nordovist. Okay, the two athletes look like they're pretty ready. They know what they have to do, of course. They want to go as high up as possible on the wall, although they too recognize the route is a very enduring and intense one. So 3, 2, 1, go. And this is going to be exciting again. So of course, Muriel is no longer in the World Cup circuit, but she's a real legend. And Stefano has just climbed his 4th 9B route. And there they go. They're here, climbing one next to the other, and they really are fighting their way up. But of course, they seem to be coping with the difficulties so far of the route. And of course, the two of them are really top athletes. Both really very passionate climbers. So relentlessly trying to remember the various beta. They're going up. Meanwhile, Maya is admitting that she was absolutely pumped. The route was great, but she's tired after all the day. And she's really enjoying it. And when asked by the speaker, what's it like to be back in competition, she says it's really good and it's just for fun. And so the two are climbing, and of course Both still up on the roof, but Muriel looks like she's fighting real hard and she's off. She's off, of course, and telling the audience that she really is pumped, indicating again her forearms. But all the warm rock spots, the audience is cheering Muriel, who is really pumped, as she's indicating, while Stefano Ghisolfi is still on the route. And Stefano loves all disciplines, of course. Lately, he's tried all kinds of styles of routes, and the crowd is really pushing him up and really getting excited, and you know, of course, he's very, very popular in Italy, being, if you want, the Italian hero of the moment. And Stefano toe hooking and heel hooking at the same time. And now going into this very difficult section. And the crowd is really going wild now. Many of them standing up to support their hero. And Stefan is really fighting his way up now. Seems to be a very, very hard move. And so everybody is looking up to see what will happen and to pushing up. And Stefano is off. Not far from the top though. And of course he's still looking up, a bit disappointed maybe. But of course at this time of the day the athletes are much more tired than they were in the morning when they worked the route. So Stefan is smiling to the audience. And people really appreciate this. He's waving now. But the next two athletes are out already. And not being sure whether you see them or not. I don't want to anticipate, but I'm sure you know who they are. Next are Mina Markovic and Adam Ondra. So here they're really, the audience has great expectation from them. And there's a big pause, only the music, before they start climbing, also to try and let them concentrate a little. Of course, we all know both of them. Adam has won a lot in his career, in his climbing, both in competition and especially on rock, boulders and routes. He's the only one who climbed a 9C route. On the other side we have Nina Markovic, AC plus 9A, and of course still on World Cup circuit with really lots and lots of podiums, and he's won so much. So really, we're all eager to watch what they're going to do. Of course, she's known for her finger power and finger strength, and she's really determined. Not that Adam is not, of course. Okay, so the two athletes are ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And the athletes are going. But while they climb their first holds, Stefano Ghisolfi is being interviewed now and saying he really got pumped. He couldn't do better than that, but he gave it all, which is the most important thing. But satisfied with, you know, his effort on the route, because he couldn't have done more. And now Muriel Sarkany being interviewed, and she's saying she's very tired, but the two athletes are going up relentlessly. And I think Nina and Adam are doing a marvelous job, but, you know, they still have a long way to go. But the show hasn't stopped, and the people are really loud. The audience is getting really loud. Both look in cruising mode, but we know the route gets more intense as they go up. So we'll see. We'll see how they cope with the various difficulties and various holds. They both looked very determined, and so Mina's taking her time. She knows what she needs to do, and both have admitted to the route being very pumpy. But now Adam is shaking out. But, okay. Meanwhile, on the orange route, Mina Markovic is really working her way up. Meanwhile, Adam is shaking. And Mina is really entering this difficult section. And Adam is continuing in the central part of the wall. Mina's trying to rest a bit if she can. She knows it's her chance now. While Adam is again working his way up. Both athletes are showing all their endurance here and all their power, trying to shake out as much as possible on these holds. So the situation is really very exciting and thrilling. And Adam has actually worked his way out of the route and pops off the route right now. So he doesn't look completely happy, but okay, he's cheering the audience and the audience is cheering him. Now talking to the official speaker, and okay, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Ondra, while Mina Markovic is still on the route, seemingly not being at all bothered by the loud noise coming from below. And she really is doing an amazing climb. She really is fighting her way up, but she really seems to be wanting to reach the top of this route, and she won't accept less than the top, it looks. So there we are for Mina Markovic, top for Mina, and it's one of the many tops in her career, but she really doesn't even look that much pumped, which is amazing. So of course the two will be interviewed in a while when Mina has regained her breath, of course, although she doesn't look that terribly pumped. And there she is with her shoes back on the floor. Now 5 minutes, of course, to let the athletes breathe, and then of course the award ceremonies. Now if Adam is available, he'll be shortly interviewed. And I'm waiting to know in which language he's going to be interviewed, because he's really amazing with languages too. He speaks Italian fluently, and many other languages, of course, including his own. But and Mina's being cheered by young athletes, Laura Ogora, and it's really interesting and really quite exciting actually to watch the two young athletes talking together, a legend and a newcomer in a way. And so it's really getting very interesting. And what is really nice about these top climbers is that they're so available. They spend the day writing autographs and taking pictures with youngsters, with many other people. And okay, the speaker is actually speaking Italian, but Adam Ondra and Stefano Ghisolfi are so, you know, they're really telling each other what the route was like and how they solved this section or that. And it's, again, very nice to see them. All these athletes have been extremely good with the public, extremely available, you know, many people asking them autograph all day, in between their first on-site route, second on-site route. Now even after the afterworks route, they're still going on, and it's pretty amazing. I mean, they must be tired at this point, but I guess, you know, I guess it's really getting late, but the people is still here. They just won't abandon their idols. And Adam Ondra being interviewed right now. And it's bye-bye time, so hope to see you on the next edition of Milan Climbing Expo. Of course, Mina deserves being interviewed too. And I hope you can hear the interview, but the audience just won't walk away, although it is pretty late. And it's been a long day especially. But they don't seem to mind, they're still here, which is again pretty amazing. So it's been a wonderful day. We've seen the boulder contest, we've had the lead contest, we've had many other smaller contests, the various sponsors organized, but still a very interesting. So Mina is actually saying she had breakfast with the girls that were the legends that inspired her, because she was with Maya and Muriel. And so, with the notes and the voice of Mina Markovic, we can conclude. Apparently there's one short interview more, but okay, Stefano is actually thanking, Stefano Ghisolfi is actually thanking all the people in the gym and the people at home. And the speaker is congratulating with Stefano for his strenuous positivity and talking about Stefano's recent route, La Capella, and it's good to have someone who really dreams a project and then manages to succeed in sending it. I'm very happy. At the beginning, when I started working the route, of course talking about La Capella, I wasn't sure I would succeed, but it was a bet with myself. So I'm very glad I surpassed a limit I thought I had. So speaker says, well, the limit is always the starting point. And in fact, Stefano is being asked, or is being told, it's been really lovely to see him climb, and maybe you would have wanted to climb some holds more. Yes, but there was no way for me. I really got pumped. So I'm 100% happy with what I've done. It was all I could do anyway. Next question. What are your plans? Your next projects? I will train. I will train all February and March, and afterwards, of course, and spend most of my days in my garage and training. And of course, we think, you know, you get it all easy when we watch you climb, but of course, you know, training is really very tiring, and physically and mentally, of course. Of course, you know, it's a nice job, so to speak, in a sport I love so much. So thank you, Stefano, for, you know, being present at Milano Climbing Expo. I don't know if we have any other victim for interviews. So we wish to thank everybody, the audience, the organization, the athletes, the sound engineers, and in a couple of minutes we'll have the official award ceremonies. So I think it's time for a goodbye. Cosa ho fatto? Ok. Sì, sì, sì.